Thank you so much, Dr. Basu, for coming on the podcast today and chatting with myself, Antonia K. Moore. So basically, you are head global strategy and branding enterprise application services Oracle at Tata Consultancy Services. Can you talk about, I suppose, how you got into it, where branding, what got you into branding, and where branding is going to be kind of, I suppose, where it is now, where you see it going in the future?
Sure. Thank you. Antonia, for inviting me to this podcast. It gives me great pleasure to be able to address to this forum. Branding is becoming very, very critical these days. And today I will be harping more on why is change management required or critical, and where does marketing and branding help in the journey. So I have researched quite a bit about organization change management and digital transformations, which is pretty much ruling the roost post this pandemic. So large organizations are having to completely redesign their enterprise landscape following this pandemic to ensure they get into a real-time insight-driven organization. So why is branding needed? And why is this renewed focus around branding when organizations are moving towards digital transformation? So to put it simply, despite organizations embarking on digital transformations, very few, in fact, contemporary research tells us less than 20% organizations are actually able to realize the benefits of this transformation exercise. So, and where is the problem? The problem lies not just in the technology or the process, but in the people aspect of it. And here, branding and marketing can take a pivotal role. Organization culture is very important. It plays a pivotal role to determine the strategy, especially how changes were dealt in the past. So the culture goes along with the brand story, the personality, the values, the elements of brand identity that are the mainstays of what comprehensive branding provides. So a change management strategy, and change management, we do it in everyday life in terms of communication, stakeholder management, training. So in context of marketing and branding, OCM is, or organization change management, is needed whenever the consumer markets are shifting. Companies are going through a rebranding process. So this, the change management typically will encompass two critical aspects of marketing. One is stakeholder involvement and the other is communication. When I say stakeholder involvement, especially after the pandemic, companies moving to new business models, it's very important for us to ensure that employees are attracted to the changes. They are made part, they feel that they are like a part of making that change. So employee ownership is very critical for internal marketing. Secondly, omni-channel communication. So visual depiction with a catchy tagline in line with the corporate vision, at the same time addressing the what's in it for me, that can provide a very useful aid to understand and for stakeholder understanding and retention, for bringing it in life of the employees and consumers. So to summarize, I would say there are three aspects to it. Number one, for a successful change management in your marketing and branding, there are three phases. Number one, aspire, which essentially addresses the why part of the change, especially evidence-based thinking that can articulate the need of the change, establish the necessary confidence necessary for stakeholders to believe in the company's future. That's number one. Number two will be inspire and influence. Now, common sense is not commonplace. People hate to move out of their comfort zone. And this is where branding is widely used to inspire employees to explain that why the change is not only logical, but also desirable. And number three, branding can be very powerfully used to drive the overarching organization transformation to create a strategic alignment of culture, talent, resources, process, and systems, which can help organizations to be better prepared in front of competition.
Well, fair enough. And I suppose, like, yeah, I mean, it is something that's very important to be able to have companies stand out and be individual, because I mean, there is so many different industries that are kind of now, you know, coming into the sphere where, you know, they're all quite similar, and branding really does sort of like individualize them and makes them stand out. And obviously their messaging and mission statement and everything is kind of something that also adds to that. And I suppose, like, where do you see kind of branding working then, like in the metaverse?
That is another very important. So branding as a metaphor will definitely be important to get that much needed adoption from both external and internal stakeholders. Now, transformation journey is any digital transformation journey is usually like 1 to 2 years long. So you need to plan for quick wins to sustain the enthusiasm, get sort of a continuous engagement to result in high levels of individual adoption. And so energy starts to sag. So we need to do things which need to create an energy, having a story, quick wins, etc. And that is where metaphor plays a very important part. Like creating a brand, internal brand will enable us to cut through that corporate noise and help the staff see and hear the change message. Presenting a visual identity for the change in the form of what's in it for me will make it very easy for the staff to connect and relate to the change. And the brand is experienced, I would say, the same way for both internal and external stakeholders. So external marketing is also best governed by a very well thought out brand strategy and a set of brand guidelines. And although the tones will be different, the metaphors that we use for internal and external communication of change has to be different. But essentially the framework remains the same, and the importance of using it to drive home the point, the why the change is needed, and what are the intended business benefits out of it is very, very important.
So you think that even, like, you know, the future of the metaverse, you know, that businesses are going to be getting involved in virtual reality, and therefore with that then, like, branding, the current branding as we know it today will still be relevant?
Absolutely. So this is very important, especially when companies are shifting from more towards an as a service economy. So companies' business models are getting innovated every day as we speak. So it will be very relevant and very important for us to use metaphors to communicate the day life, to communicate the journey. Metaphors are widely used by all the companies that we have researched in on personal capacity. Metaphors are the thing to drive home the brand image and brand personality.
Okay, yeah, that does make a very good point, because really I kind of do see it being more of a journey as such. So yeah, so how do you think that learning programs can help?
Learning programs, so these are very, I would say, okay, let me take a step back. To successfully implement any program, any change in the organization related to new process or technology, we must first enable our stakeholders to adapt and adopt to the new environment. So enabling the workforce includes assessing, designing, developing, and delivering the learning programs and guidance, both regionally and globally. They should understand the learning programs are increasingly getting more important because they need to understand 4 things. Number 1, why they need to do this, whether we have all the systems and processes systems and processes there. Number 3, they need to have the skills to survive in the new world. And number 4, role modeling, people whom they admire has to behave in the new ways of working. And as digital transformation is becoming more integrated with branding and marketing, we see a demand in soft skills such as organization design, skill development, and change management. We need to identify the talent, we need to create for such talent to shift their attention for every stage of more implementation. We need to generate mistakes and ensure that every talent is assigned ownership of even a part of of the overarching business problem. And number three, focusing can't harp the importance more. We have to focus more and more on collaboration and let them assume the role of change agents or being the evangelists of change, and use the talent to pass the message of the branding throughout the organization and create a band of semi-experts down the line. Then this is relevant both for customers as well as the internal employees.
Okay, well, yeah, that is actually fairly interesting. And so tell me, where can people find you if they want to maybe pick your brain and find out a bit more for their company or for their business?
Sure. So I'm reachable at in my LinkedIn profile, and I'm also reachable at my email address, kallolbasu@yahoo.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining me in the podcast today, Dr. Basu, and really appreciate your time and all of that vital information for businesses and companies. And hopefully we can have you back in the podcast again, maybe at some point in the future. And I'll put the LinkedIn link in the bio as well, like, so people can reach out to you there.
Absolutely. Thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you. Thanks a lot. My pleasure.
Have a great week.
Nice
Thanks so much then. Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.